What's up, everybody? Welcome to Full Draw Friday number 75. I'm Kenyon Clark. The devilishly handsome guy on the other side of the screen is Austin Stone. We'll get into that in a minute. This episode is brought to you by Rax Big Game Supplements. You guys know, if you've listened to the podcast for a long time, we used to work with them back a couple years ago, and then we stopped for a while, but we're back to working with them. If you guys are looking for quality minerals, quality protein, you should go check them out at raxmineral.com. They're running a sale right now. It's Mineral 15. That's all caps, Mineral 15. You get 15% off any amount of 40-pound bags of mineral that you buy right now. So go check that out. With that said, let's get into Full Draw Friday here. You guys will notice from the title, Getting Stoned, maybe a little bit misleading. We're not smoking anything on this episode, but Austin is joining us as your new co-host for Full Draw Friday. So we're going to try to do this as often as possible, get him on here. He is from Tactical Approach Outdoors. If you guys have listened to the podcast for a while, you probably know him because I think he's been our most recurring guest. I actually think I probably mentioned that the last time you were on, that you might as well be a co-host. So I think this is a good opportunity. We both do a lot of the same things when it comes to management and consulting stuff and all that. And we think a lot alike about, whitetails and properties and things like that. So I thought it'd be a cool opportunity to get together and talk once a week and maybe help some people out on their properties or with their hunting. And as you know, Full Draw Friday is usually the tips, tactics, strategy kind of thing. And I think that's what you do best. So I'm excited to bring you on and have you be a part of it. I think for those that haven't listened, though, we should do kind of an intro to you. We'll use that for the first episode here with you on as co-hosting because they probably know me already. They're probably tired of listening to me, so they're happy to see somebody else. Let's dive into a little bit of your background as far as hunting and tactical approach and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm pumped about being a co-host here with you. And yeah, we've done a lot of podcasts together. I definitely have enjoyed doing them, and we always have great conversations. And I hope listeners take from it what I feel like you and I take from it when we just spitball tactics back and forth with each other and pick each other's brain.
Mm-hmm.
But like Kenya said, I'm Austin Stone. I own and run Tactical Approach Outdoors, and we're a whitetail consulting property management company. And from you can see, my filming studio is not nearly as well put together as Canyon's is right now,
Yeah.
because mine's under construction right now.
Yeah.
So we are getting there. I've been pretty busy visiting client properties and getting started with prep, going into spring planting. So it's just kind of one of those things. Just haven't really had the time to work on it yet.
Yeah,
So
I hear you. We just got done with
but
ours. Like this is, I told you, I think I sent you a short video, and I'll give you the tour after, but this is just freshly off of construction. We don't even have anything on that other wall yet. So I hear you on the construction side of the studio.
Well, it looks good.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's going to work. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but you've been on some properties lately. How long you been doing that with Tactical Approach? When did you start that? I kind of know when everything was, but let the people know.
Yeah, I got the business started in 2020. I've been hunting my whole life and working on, killing bigger deer, and always have a goal of not only, chasing bigger deer, but continuing to harvest them on a consistent basis and whatnot. Hunted public land my whole life. So I have a unique perspective in a way that I bring to client properties. Just I've because of my understanding of pressured ground, I really know how to articulate, hunter access and the importance of it, and how important it is for stand rotation and being mobile, and just kind of bringing a little different perspective that maybe a lot of guys haven't ever thought of before, and then and also looking into not only those topics I just mentioned, but even different locations in themselves. A little hidden little hole on the property that, for whatever reason, they just had never walked back there. And then you go back there and there's some killer sign.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun, walking these properties and talking with the landowners and clients and getting their perspective and experience for what they have seen on property and have experienced through the years, and then bringing a fresh set of eyes, and getting my perspective just from what I have seen in that short amount of time on property,
Mm-hmm.
and then combining that intel and putting it together a cool plan for them.
Yeah, that's something, like you said, kind of a unique point of view that you can bring from your experience with public land, and we've talked about it a bunch. There's so many strategies when it comes to just the hunting part of it that translate that guys miss when they're hunting private land. I think, especially the mobile part of it, like you're saying, you got to get in a rut. A lot of times, you get in a rut on private ground because you know it so well, or at least you think you do, and you stick to those same good old spots all the time, and you might be missing something right under your nose. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we've actually been doing that for about the same amount of time because we started in 2020 as well. We met at the Iowa Deer Classic, I believe.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, you guys had a booth down there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that was exactly where it
Maybe
was.
2022 or three.
That sounds yeah, I want to say 22 over 23. We've known each other for a couple years
I
now,
was
man.
thinking it's been probably longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Because I was looking back through the emails. I think the first
Mhm.
time we actually had you on the podcast was 23. So we probably met there in
Okay.
22, if I was guessing. Um,
Yeah.
People can probably go back and listen to the actual podcast episodes and find out. But we've
Fair
kind of
enough.
both been doing this for the same amount of time. You've got obviously the YouTube stuff going on and everything too. People need to go check out. You got some of the best public land videos I think that are on YouTube, especially for self film and solo hunt stuff like that. Not only is hunting public land a challenge, but for anybody that's not self filmed, like that's a whole challenge in itself.
It's tough. It's rough.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
It's it almost is no fun sometimes, if I'm gonna be really honest. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Yep.
So it's one of those things where, when it all comes together, it's amazing, and you have some really cool footage, and all the extra work was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's times where you're just in the grind, and when you're in the grind, that's when it sucks the most.
Yes.
Just because it's extra weight in the pack, it's extra time in setup. You have to be more particular about how you set up, because you're also trying to capture this on film.
Mm-hmm.
And then the really frustrating part is when everything goes right and the batteries are dead
Yeah.
right when it
Yep.
all comes together. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you have everything set up right, and then it was a colder day than normal, so your camera died about an hour faster
Mm-hmm.
than it normally does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and right then, because of that, you got your deer, but you don't have any footage.
That's right. Yeah. The buck that I ended up killing this year, those GoPro batteries don't do well in the cold at all. And
No.
I had like 10 seconds of GoPro. I'd turn it on and it would show like 75% battery or whatever. 10
Mm-hmm.
seconds later, it would shut off. So that's ended up what happened to me
Yeah.
on that deer. Fortunately, the other battery held on just long enough, but it was going quick too. There's no doubt that
Yeah.
that is unbelievably tough when it comes to trying to get everything on video by yourself. And like you said, some to the point where it sometimes it's no fun. And I definitely enjoy having a cameraman with me more than trying
Mhm.
to self film for that reason. I mean, it's fun
Yeah.
to have someone else there to kind of kill time with too, but you're not worried about having the camera on the deer the whole time and getting everything on. And I'm to the point now where if it's not on camera, like I really don't even want to shoot it. So
Yeah.
that adds that even more difficulty,
For
I guess, because it's not like, well, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
but that's something that you've done for a while too. Did you start the YouTube in 2020? How did you start all of it, and then how has it kind of evolved over time? And I know you got some new stuff that's going on too.
Yeah. So the idea for the brand kind of came to be in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So if I remember right, I think that's when I actually opened the accounts. But I didn't do anything with them. It's just, I think maybe I posted a couple random videos that were just no good. And I think I've kept them on the channel, but I've made them private just for my own kind of
Mm-hmm.
view. I like looking back
We've all
at,
got those.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, I'd rather take those down. But
Right.
but other than that, I didn't really start pushing things until 2020 when I had the actual business path. You know what I mean? The actual full blown business idea. But in that time before that, I started to learn to film. I started to play around with it, and basically what I did was I knew what I wanted to do, or general idea of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I observed what the the successful businesses, the guys that were doing it really successfully, how their businesses looked between, not only the actual business itself and the business model, but also their marketing strategy, their YouTube presence, so overall social media presence. And everybody that really was doing it really well and killing it had both a
Right.
YouTube presence and a good business model. So when I figured that out, I was like, okay, I gotta learn this filming side of things. I have no clue about. So
Mm-hmm.
so is then it just started this rabbit hole of putting myself through videography school, marketing school, graphic design school,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. YouTube University,
Yes. Yes.
so it's just kind of one of those things where I knew that I couldn't fully accomplish my goals without having a good content strategy in place and
Mm-hmm.
being able to create good videos. And kind of the way I viewed it is YouTube is my resume. You know what I mean? Not only is it fun stuff to put, I love putting together videos and building cool content and whatnot. I've grown to really enjoy it, but it's also how I viewed it was my number one resume.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to hire me, the best way for you to figure out if maybe I'm a good fit for you is probably to go watch my videos. And that's probably where I would start if I was a client. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So through the research side of things, if I was a client, how I would go about finding the correct person. And that's how I would go about doing it also.
Yeah, for sure. That is, and that's where people find information anymore, right? Like that's why we're doing this on YouTube, is
Mhm.
because so many people, especially in our industry, look to YouTube for information, and that's the first place they're going to go. And then, yeah, once you find somebody that you like, if you see that they're offering those services, then bam, there you go. Or vice
Yeah.
versa, they hear about you. Now, like you said, there's actually a resume out there they can go look at and say, do I like what this guy's saying or not? And
Hmm.
do I think this is going to work or not based on the content you've put out? And then if it is, yeah, we'll go with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that is, yeah, a really good way to look at it is, like you said, modeling what people have done that's been successful already, which,
Hmm.
obviously that's what we're trying to do. That's what everybody's trying to do. If someone has carved a path to success, why not, why not learn from some of their lessons and try to
Hmm.
mimic in a way, but also, you're going to put your own spin on it, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like that there's only so many ways to skin a cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing in a way the same thing, but the only thing that that business doesn't have that your business does have is you
Mm-hmm.
as a person, right? So the way you articulate things, the way you teach, the way you talk, the your personal I approach to a hunt or a property, you know, is similar but slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I mean than the next guy. And as we know, when we're trying to harvest these big mature animals, it's you win in the details.
Yeah.
Those tiny little details are what win. So, maybe you're the guy that has those tiny details figured out a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like you said, you're able to articulate them a little bit better or present them in a way that's more understandable or whatever, for
Yeah.
sure.
and and that's something I've always leaned to instructing and teaching. I really have enjoyed instructing between horse riding lessons or personal training, and
Mm-hmm.
I've always leaned more towards teaching, instructing kind side of things. So, learning to articulate how to do something from a very basic beginner level, and then,
Mm-hmm.
in steps and progress all the way up to advanced is something you have to learn, while you're doing that. So even if you're up here, you have to remember that at one point you were down here. So how do you present that information that they would understand it? You know what I mean? So
Yep.
you kind of, it's not dumbing it down by any means, but it's articulating it differently
Mm-hmm.
than what someone up here might understand.
Yeah, and not so like you said, you kind of have gone down a path of like teaching, instructing, helping, and whatnot. And I've similarly I've done a lot of coaching in different sports, various sports, and one of my I feel my biggest weaknesses as a coach a lot of times is I want to give all the correction right up front and like all the information. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you see all these things that are wrong and you want to fix them all and you want to say, okay, you're here now. I want to get you to here. Can I get you here in like 10 minutes? No, you have to, you have to give little bites. You take little bites out
Yep.
of it, and okay, give
Yep.
them this. And then when they get that figured out, then give them this. And it's the same thing you're talking about with the hunting or whatever. It's okay. The first thing I'm going to work on is let's get them to understand, I don't know, let's say scent control to some extent, right? And then we can move up to, okay, um, talking about wind direction, not only from your stand, but on the way in and on the way out. And then we can move up to understanding thermals. And then we can move into thermals, like, yeah,
Hmm.
just putting one block on the other. You can't do it all at
Yep.
once. You have to start with the base layer, the foundation of it, and
Yep.
then build from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I do want to mention our other partner for Full Draw Friday before we get any farther here. That's Rodney Hawkins. If you guys, again, have been listening to the podcast, you know we've been working with him for a while. He has his own company called RG Outdoors. They've got Fission e-bikes. They've got Tacticam trail cameras. They have Radix hunting blinds, stands, cameras, all kinds of stuff. He's adding new products all the time as well. If you guys want to check him out, go to Facebook, RG Outdoors, or you can give him a call directly at 618-925-3153. He's also a land specialist with Midwest Farm and Land, so if you guys are looking for a piece of property to do what we're talking about, own, manage, and hunt, check him out for that as well. You can go to that same cell phone number. If you guys don't know about Midwest Farm and Land, you can look them up online. They specialize in recreational properties, but they also do residential stuff as well. So no matter what you're looking for, Rodney can help you out here in Illinois. Again, his number is 618-925-3153. All right, let's not take too much more time here. Like I said, just want to kind of do an introductory for this one, and then next week we'll start diving into some tactics and strategies. We'll get together and decide where we want to start and how we want to do this thing. But to wrap it all up, let everybody know where they can find your tactical approach stuff, what you guys are doing over there, and then maybe some of the new stuff you got coming up.
Absolutely. So you can find us Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Tactical Approach Outdoors. My website is tacticalapproachoutdoors.com. If you have questions about anything going on, any topics that we cover, don't hesitate to send me or Canyon, a message. I love hearing from all y'all and helping out your progress. We've got some big stuff happening this year. Something I have recently added is I've acquired a small outfitting business also in North Central Kansas. So we'll be adding that to Tactical Approach Outdoors, and this is the first time actually saying it publicly. So
Big
that's kind of
stuff.
exciting.
Big
So
stuff.
it's kind of a small nut number, very heavy management forward, and it's going to be something that we're going to be running workshops on as time goes by in the future. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff
Mm-hmm.
on that property. So I'm excited to bring everybody out and see how that grows. And then YouTube, we're ramping things back up. It's been a slow year. I've been busy with the business, so my content's kind of been lacking, but YouTube's coming back, and we're get our frequency going again. So with not only public land content, but management strategies and whatnot for
Mm-hmm.
multiple different properties I'm working on.
Awesome. So we're going to keep doing this on Fridays. We're going to talk about the same stuff we normally do. It's not really going to change the structure of our Full Draw Fridays, but we are going to bring in more perspective. And Austin, I think you're going to bring a lot to the show. I'm excited to start doing it. It's going to be video from now on too, so I'm excited about that with the new studio and getting you on here as well. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk a lot of hunting. We're going to hopefully help some people kill some deer. But that's all we got for this week. I just wanted to get an introduction to Austin for everybody out there. If you guys, again, want to learn more about him, go to tacticalapproachoutdoors.com. You can check him out on all the socials as well. And, of course, Ridgehunteroutdoors.com. You guys can find our stuff, too. So that's going to do it for this week. That's Austin. I'm Canyon. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.